Before we get started, I have one last question about Buddhism. Could I please? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Before we get started, it's my mom's birthday today, and she's on there. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Yeah, she tuned in. I just want to take a second to see all your beautiful faces. My voice was raspy from the travels, but I'm so happy to be here with you guys. As you guys know, I love me some science, so I figured today I'd give you a story about black holes. Because when I was growing up, black holes were the most fascinating thing to me. I always wondered, what would happen if you fell into one? What's on the other side of a black hole? The point where you cross the event horizon, which is the point of no return. But what I could have never expected is that decades later, I would come to get an answer for myself by descending into one of the darkest corners of the universe. But before getting there, I want to rewind the clock and tell you a little bit about, I don't know how to go back, about this guy. That was me as a child. And the common feedback I got, you can ask my mom this, is that I had smiling eyes and golden retriever energy. You told me as well, thank you. And as I was growing up, everything was perfect. I loved school. I did really well in school. I was very extroverted. I was social, had friends. I became successful in my career. And, on paper, I had it all. So what a lot of people didn't see were the silent battles that I was struggling with internally. You see, for years, I've struggled with clinical depression and anxiety and mental health. And I think because of the way I present myself, because of the way I show up in the world, a lot of people just didn't believe it or kind of dismissed it. Sometimes as men, we don't talk about it as much, and that could have factored in. But it started off very high functioning. It started off as me being really a go-getter, asking questions in class. But then it transitioned to something a lot more sinister. It started to look like not being able to get out of bed, like not liking how I looked, like not ever feeling like I was ever enough. And I struggled with this for so long, for so many years of my life, I didn't even know it until it became so obvious that I became conscious of it. And so I did what I do best. I threw myself at the problem. I became a student of mental health. I did countless hours of therapy, as many of us have in this room. I did all the breath work, all the sound bowls, all the yoga in the world. I read every godforsaken self-help book as well on this planet. But none of it was working. And I also I entered myself into the mental health care system. All right? I did everything that you're told to do, everything you're supposed to do. I checked myself into a hospital. I took every medication that psychiatrists recommended, even though it wasn't helping, and I was begging them. I was begging to do more than just write God-forsaken prescriptions. This continued for so long until I got to a point where I felt completely abandoned and dismissed, like no one would care if I made it or not. And after again, many more months of this and going through a tragic period of losing family, losing a loved one, going through a difficult breakup, I reached my breaking point. I no longer had the will to continue. And I remember that day like it was yesterday because I was standing on a ledge, peering down into the dark abyss of my very own black hole, knowing that if I took one more step forward, there would be no coming back, but wanting to do it anyway. And it's at this point that I wish I could tell you meditation saved my life. I had some sort of sudden epiphany that walked me off that ledge, but that's not how it happened. My father, who happened to be driving nearby on the highway, had seen me, and the moment I saw the tears on his eyes and the distraught look on his elderly face, I knew I couldn't make the jump in front of him, because no parent should have to bear witness to that. And so I didn't survive that day out of some sort of magical realization that my life was worth living. I survived out of guilt. It was a split-second decision between me being here right now, giving this talk, and Mahan no longer being on this planet. And it got me questioning how many people don't get lucky, how many people didn't get lucky. And it's a lot more common than we as a society talk about. Suicide is the second leading cause of death amongst young adults, especially amongst men who are 4 times more likely to take their own life. In fact, by the end of this talk, someone in this country will have taken their own life. So that's why I talk about it. That's why we need to destigmatize it, inside the classroom, outside the classroom, everywhere. It could be your loved one, it could be a child, it could be anyone. And no matter how they look on the outside, don't take it for granted. You could be smiling, you can have smiling eyes, you can be a golden retriever and you're suffering on the inside. So for me, again, no fairy tale. I continue for many more months, still wanting to die, on the very edge of that event horizon, until one day I had a sudden shift in the movements of my mind. I finally accepted and internalized that no one and nothing was coming to save me. No loved one, no medication, no special treatment. And I was fucking furious. I was so angry because I did everything you're supposed to do. I had my hand reaching out. Someone please take it, like please. And it felt like it got slapped away. But that anger turned into something beautiful. It was the escape velocity that I needed to look inwards, to find the medication inside, to find a way on my own. And eventually I did, and meditation was one of the ways I did that. It took many years. It doesn't happen in the moment. But after having gone through that experience, I want to share what I learned about how meditation can help and why it's important we start now when the next black hole hits. See, meditation creates a separation between us and our thoughts. And even if that's for a split second, that could save a life. Because what if we can look at a thought like, I don't want to live anymore, in the same way we look at I'm tired or I'm hungry? It's just a thing that comes and goes. It's not an objective truth you need to act on right now. Meditation helps us question who is the one doing the thinking of these thoughts. I learned that the part of me that wanted to die was scared. It was doing it to protect me. It loved me and it didn't want to see me suffer. And I had to create that separation to see that. Meditation also teaches you to train where you place your attention, and this matters. Why? Well, so much of our pain is the anticipation of suffering we've yet to experience. Rather than sit with what we're feeling right now, even if it's excruciating, it's, oh, the next moment, I can't handle it, I can't bear it. We already bore it right now. Lastly, meditation gave me the ability to have compassion and love for the parts of me that I previously couldn't, including the part that didn't want to live. And so looking back now, it's funny, I see the cosmic wisdom and how things unfolded. The very thing that nearly took my life was the thing that became beautiful. That black hole turned into a supernova, radiating outwards, transforming not just me, but all the loved ones in my life as well. Exactly 1 year later, I found myself consoling friends dealing with their own silent battles, sharing words of wisdom that I wish I had heard. Things like meditation doesn't erase the pain, but it teaches us how to hold it with grace. That peace isn't the absence of darkness, it's our ability to sit inside of it in the lotus position and still see the stars. Meditation is something that changed my life. And so I want to say that if you're struggling, if you feel like you're at your breaking point, either now or in the future, please, please, I urge you, don't give up. Stay. Stay for another day. Stay for another week. However long you can stay, just stay. And I want to end off by saying that I'm grateful. I'm grateful for Hector and Santi for working, I don't know how many hours to make this whole thing happen. I'm grateful for the wonderful TAs in the room that work tirelessly and walk the walk. I'm grateful for Nicole for introducing me to this world. And I'm grateful to all of you. Your vulnerability has allowed me to become vulnerable as well. Your stories have powered me. And we've heard it so many times today. What we're doing here is so precious, but it goes beyond all this. Right? This is so much more powerful than any of us realize. Lastly, I'm grateful to that version of Mahan. I'm grateful for the one with the smiling eyes because he is ultimately the one that chose to stay. And what I want to tell him is that maybe in the end, the question was never about what happens when you fall into a black hole, but who you become when you rise out of one. Thank you.